Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
We back, baby.
We back.
This is the last episode of the Epstein saga. You'll be happy to know.
Fuck, I'm tired.
Honestly, because I've had enough of his crimes. I've actually had enough. I've had enough.
I also felt like this episode didn't need to be a whole episode. I feel like
it could have been half an hour, because there was a point where it got to, I was looking and there was like 20 minutes left, and I was like, what else
What
happens?
are you discussing, literally? I really feel like it didn't need to be a whole episode. I feel like they could have, like, if they had done the last episode well, which was episode 3, they could have done these two as one. It really didn't, but Netflixing.
It was a necessary episode, I think, and you're kind of hoping when you begin this episode that there's going to be some closure, so, you know.
Yeah.
Before we get into the episode, we're actually going to take a little break next week. So we've given you 4 episodes in the space of 2 weeks, which I think, considering the climate and considering, you know, everything, it's been great. So next week we're taking a break, and then the week after we're going to come back with something new. So yeah. Just get the bad news out the way. Yeah. Then we'll get into this
bad
episode.
News to you.
To you.
Good news to me.
So we open up with the deposition again, and this time they're discussing Virginia Roberts. Now, if you remember the last episode we did, it ended with Virginia, who her name is now Virginia Roberts Giuffre, because she got married. And then the lawyer asks Epstein if he remembers who she is. And Epstein is like, oh, like, can you spell it? Like, about her name. I was just like, what? Definition, please? Can you use it in a sentence?
As in, is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Is it
literally, the lawyer's like, it's a common spelling, like Roberts. Like, what is the meaning? Like,
what's that game show you play where, like, is it Countdown? Like, where they pull up different, like, you have to make the word, and Carol Vorderman.
It is Countdown.
Yeah,
it's Countdown.
That's what that nigga was trying to do there.
Yeah, he was moving mad, because he literally was like, hey, like, what do you mean? Can I spell Roberts? Can you not spell Roberts? I don't get it.
I feel like he was just bored and he wanted to antagonize them. Like, I think that's
definitely.
Exactly the vibe.
Definitely. We continue to see the lawyer asking Epstein questions, and like he's reading the indictment or whatever it is. And in that document, Virginia basically says that Epstein and Ghislaine had sex with her, so abused her on her 16th birthday. And she tells them that Epstein forced her to have sex with other people. And he's just reading all of that out, right?
Yeah.
And so now we learn, I mean, we all knew, but we learn that Virginia was sexually abused by Prince Andrew. And I've been waiting for us to get to this point, because, like, this is one of the unnamed co-conspirators that he was trying to get immunity for, and it all makes sense now. This is what we were saying, like, it must be like high people. So now we are in London, England, 2001, and as a proud Londoner, I don't condone the following actions.
London
He's killing them in the UK. Hey. Everybody's gonna say UK.
Listen, I'm like 1 like, and now it's like no likes, and she does it. Like, nobody liked it.
It's so funny, because when I listen to the earlier episodes, it's like me telling you to stop singing, and like now
it's you. Guys, don't worry, I'll be returning with my vocal skills shortly.
It is what it is.
I first met Prince Andrew March 10th, 2001 in London at Ghislaine's townhouse.
They're having tea, and then Ghislaine asks Prince Andrew how old he thinks that she is, and he says 17. Which is right.
Yeah.
She was 17, but then he goes on to talk about his daughters being close to her age and stuff, which is like...
That bit made me feel really sick, because it's kind of like, I don't know if it's some sort of sick foreplay game. They have like, oh, how old do you think this one is? Like, she's ripe. Like, it just made me, you know, like, it's just like when you go to buy a car and they're like, oh, how fast do you think this can go? Like, it's so
weird. They can shock you and be like, oh, actually, she's
it's off.
It's the kind of game you play when someone is old but looks younger, not with children. But the thing that I found to be kind of like with this is that she's 17 years old, and in the UK 17 is legal because the age of consent is actually 16 years old. So with the Virginia case, and I only really understood it when I was watching this, it's less about her being a minor and more about her being trafficked to Prince Andrew by Jeffrey Epstein. Exactly. So that's what makes this.
But then at the same time, and maybe, you know, I'm being judgmental, if you can have sex with a 17-year-old, you can have sex with a 15-year-old. I'm sorry, like, I don't.
There's not that much of a difference.
I know legally, XYZ, but if you're gonna have, anyways, we'll get into my opinions.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, no, I agree. So next we hear they go to a club, and I'm gonna let Forenz get into this because you you express feelings.
So they go to this club, okay, and they're dancing in the club. First of all, like, at your fucking age, you're going to a club with this small girl. And also, I was thinking, how did she get into the club?
I was going to say that.
It's
because 18 you can't... Yeah, I remember when I used to remember when I had to get fake ID to to go to Nicole's birthday, because my birthday wasn't...
So first of all, how did sis get in? They obviously had a fake ID for... Well, I also know that, like, obviously if you're rich, you're famous, whatever,
you just come in.
Come in. They're not going to, like, start IDing. Yeah. So they go to this club. And, like, they're dancing. And she says that he's sweating profusely all over her. Like, it's not like, oh, he's sweat. Everybody sweats in the club. Like, this is why I don't like
clubs. To sweat
clubs.
Profusely is different.
But to sweat profusely, that means through your shirts, they were seeing the sweat patches. And I was just thinking...
That means there was probably sweat particles dangling.
It was just his aura.
Flying.
His aura was sweat. And I'm just thinking, is it cocaine? Like, cocaine? Why are you sweating so much?
He seems like a sweater, though. He does seem like one of those...
You know those wet...
Them substitute teachers that are just wet and their hair's just greasy and they're just...
I feel sick.
Like, if he wasn't a royal, I think that's what he would have been.
Do you... Literally, you know people that you see and it's like, they're just wet. Like, you can imagine their hands are clammy.
Clammy is the word.
But you couldn't pay me to let a man like that mount me. So yeah, he's sweating profusely all over, and nobody can even like you can't forget this bit because the way she says it with such disgust, like you know she's not lying because it's like what a thing to lie about. It's not like you said.
It's like the memory alone is like
literally it's
bringing
not like
back the
said,
disgust.
oh, like he couldn't dance, like whatever, like cool. But like to say someone was sweating profusely is a very specific detail. Like, yeah, it's like the egg penis all over again.
Yeah. Dang, nigga. When they get home from the club after the profuse sweating, she tells us that they go up the stairs and then Epstein takes a picture of her and Prince Andrew, and you can see Ghislaine in the background, and we see the actual picture. So the picture does exist, like we see it, right? Yeah. And then shortly after that, Ghislaine tells her what she does for Epstein, she's going to have to do it for Prince Andrew. Mm-hmm. And she says that's when she was sexually abused by Prince Andrew for the first time, right? On-screen text, Ghislaine denies the allegations. Okay, cool, whatever. Like, occasionally through this series, we've had on-screen text of Ghislaine denying allegations.
And it's just like, that doesn't add up to me, but we'll get into why later. But I don't know, like, I kept saying, this doesn't make sense, but yeah.
What doesn't make sense?
That they have on-screen text of Ghislaine's denying accusations.
Oh, right.
Do you know, do you know, like, you get,
Yeah. So all of this hits the news. Virginia is called all these names. Basically, she comes out about this whole Prince Andrew thing. And of course, you get the victim blaming. Do you know what I mean? And you get all the stuff that is just irrelevant. And Virginia says that now the story goes from being about trafficking and having sex with a minor in terms of Epstein to being about Prince Andrew.
Yep.
Which is, again, very jarring and, again, minimises the experience of the survivors. Because it's like, oh, do you know what? You just become like a footnote in your own story, which is like, what the fuck? So, we get on-screen text again now showing Buckingham Palace. It's so funny, this bit to me, because Buckingham Palace says there was no contact of any kind and there was no sexual relationship, which is hilarious because there's a picture of them together.
Literally.
So even if you want to deny sexual contact, there was definitely contact of some kind.
Literally,
do you know what I mean?
Bill Clinton and the stained blue dress all over again.
All over again.
Like, just like, you could have been like, oh, he met her, but there was no sexual... Like, there's literally, photographic evidence. Like, what are you saying? Like, if you want to lie... I hate people that don't lie well.
That lie. Listen, we get if you're gonna lie, like, lie with some vim, please. Lie with
vim. Like, when I lie in a manner that people don't even know I'm lying. Like, trust me.
Wow, that is comforting, isn't it? Comforting to know. That time you told me my hair was nice. Okay,
girl.
Okay.
Your wig was all the way up.
I mean, my wigs are never off with it, so I know you wasn't lying.
But seriously, I'm telling you, I hate people that don't lie well. Like, the proof is right there. Like, just be like, oh, he met her an evening at a friend's house, but nothing happened. That would I feel like that would lead to more like, oh, maybe he didn't do anything. But when you've lied, and then people can see that you've lied about everything, now it's like, okay, if you can lie about X, you can lie about Y, so therefore you did that shit.
It's like when you deny, when you deny anything happening, it's very stupid. You have to admit some fault or admit some contact, and then everything else can be a little bit blurry or a little bit muddied. But when you deny and say, I never had sexual relations with that woman, all all I need is to see a picture of you two together, and then
I'm like,
I've disproved everything. And if you lied about that, then surely you lied about this, and you lied about that, and you lied about that. But we even get back into Bill Clinton because he too is a liar, but whatever. So now we hear from Virginia's lawyer that she was abused and trafficked many times by Epstein. We start to hear of the people that she was trafficked to, and she says she was trafficked to Dershowitz. Remember the lawyer?
I screamed.
And he denies it vehemently. Like, that vehemently.
I literally wrote that.
Vehemently.
Vehemently. Like, literally.
That's the only word to describe it.
I assure you, I never had sex with Virginia Roberts. Let me state categorically, I never had sex with an underage person in my life. Even when I was an underage boy, I never had sex with an underage girl. I never had sex with anyone related to Jeffrey Epstein.
Do you know what I found funny as well? He said, ask her if she can say that we slept together 6 or 7 times. And it was like, it's very, that number was extremely specific.
And you know what? It's so funny because it's so shady, because the documentary, like, I love a shady doc, yeah? I love a shady doc. And so he was like saying,
I challenge Virginia Roberts to come on your show, look in the camera, and say the following words. I accuse Alan Dershowitz of having had sex with me on 6 or 7 occasions. She has never been willing to accuse me in public, so please accuse me on this show. I challenge you.
And then next scene,
it's her.
You get her saying,
I was with Alan Dershowitz multiple times. At least 6 that I can remember.
And she's looking straight into the camera. And do you know why I believe this, yeah? Because she has no reason to lie about him.
Or to bring him into it.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, she has absolutely no reason, because it's not like, okay, it's like, okay, cool, with Prince Andrew, you can say he's a prince. He was linked to Epstein, so she's thinking she can get some money. Not saying this is the case. Not saying that he didn't do it, because I think he did that shit guilty as fuck. But I feel like with Alan, there's actually no reason to lie. Like, I feel like... And also, I feel like I know that Alan is a defense attorney, but I also feel like there's something about him that seems very evil and sinister to me, in the sense, like, the way he's defended, it's come across as if he's defended Epstein's actions this whole documentary.
Yeah, it's not just defending your client.
It's gone
in
beyond
case it's
that.
been for a trial. It's like you are okay with the way that he's lived his life.
So I can definitely believe that he did that shit. Yeah. And I can also, also I think what shocked me is, like, knowing that you did that shit, you really came on this documentary and you've been chatting the most. He's the only person from Epstein's camp we've spoken to.
This is what I mean. When people make such statements like, I did not do it, it's like, because even Virginia says, was one of us telling the truth? Yes. Is it me? Yes. And it's like, do you know the maddest thing as well? They, in good old American fashion, they sue each other for defamation. Yeah. Because it's like, you two are saying the completely opposite thing. One of you is lying. One of you is lying, and whoever is lying still sued the other for defamation, knowing that they were lying. Two things here cannot be true. They cannot both be true.
Not in this case.
Do you get what I mean?
Cannot be true, yeah.
So I'm just like, this is actually, it's madness, and I just think he's the one that's lying, so yeah.
Oh, you think he's... I was going to ask you, who do you think is lying? You think he's lying?
I think he's lying. I think he's definitely lying. I think he's definitely lying. Because it just makes sense. Like, he clearly, Epstein was like lending out these girls, trafficking these girls, and she says that Epstein basically forced me to sleep with him. It's like, where else would she know him from?
Where else
do you know what I mean?
Like, and that's what I mean. Like, he's such an irrelevant person to mention, because I get that maybe in academic circles people know who he is, but the everyday layman does not know who Alan
doesn't know who he is.
So what would she gain from mentioning his name? It's not like, it's going to be money, or it's going to be this, it's going to be that. Like, she'd gain more from a settlement with Prince Andrew. So what
and
would
it's not like
gain?
It's not like she was in law school and he was her professor and she wants to get him, but like, they have no reason to ever have seen one another. Where would I have met you? Where would I have met you if not through Epstein?
Exactly. So that's.
And if I was Epstein's little trafficked person, what was the reason? Do you know what I mean?
What was the reason?
Honestly. So this bit, like, we meet Sarah again. We met her last episode, and she tells us that in 2016 she realizes that basically both the presidential candidates, because you had Hillary Clinton and you had Donald Trump, right? They both have ties to Epstein. Trump does because that's his boy that he keeps trying to deny it, yeah. And Hillary does because Bill Clinton is buddy with Epstein. And I just put this bit in to show that like Epstein is so powerful that regardless of who won that election, he was gonna run shit. He was gonna be calm.
And also, I wanted to show that, like, politics is just a circle of shit. Like, yeah you have different
Nothing
parties.
is anything.
Literally, you have different parties. Yeah, you got the Republicans, you have the Democrats. Cool, it's different. Here, you've got the Conservatives, you've got the Labour. But, like, other than Jeremy Corbyn, like, but literally all these politicians are all in bed with each other. You think they're different parties, stand up for this and that, but it's just shows you, do you know what I mean? Like, because Democrats and Republicans claim that their policies and their ideas and the way they even view the world is so different. So if it's so different, how can you both have a mutual friend that is Epstein? Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if there was somebody who was completely opposite to me, I couldn't be friends with their friends because their friend is like the
you don't have mutuals.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like when you meet a friend's friend and you just think, how the fuck are you friends?
Yeah.
You start looking at your friend funny, like there's something about you that I must not know or like or agree with.
That must be how all your other friends feel when you bring me around. I'm just saying. They must be like, how the fuck did this shit happen?
The fuck? Yeah, my friends actually like you, annoyingly.
Hey, Vicky.
Whatever. So then we get to the Me Too movement, right? So now it's 2017. So that was 2016 when no one really wanted to do anything about what Sarah was saying, and she realised, it's peak because presidents, right?
Yeah.
Now we get the Me Too movement in 2017, and we see like some of the survivors talking about how they agree with the Me Too movement. And essentially like what that movement did was bring to light the abuse that had been going on.
Yep.
They got Cosby, they got Weinstein, like, and we get on-screen text that tells us in 2018, the Miami Herald examines the plea deal that Epstein got. Remember the dumb deal where he went to prison for 18 months, but he was living his best life?
Yep.
Yeah. So they bring attention to that case all over again, right? Meanwhile, that dickhead Acosta is promoted to Labour Secretary by Trump because Trump is now president at this point. And that's better than being a DA, which is what he was. And it seems like this is like his little mini reward for being in the pocket of the man and like giving that shit deal. Yeah?
But can we just talk about for a second, because I feel like we need to do a whole podcast episode on Acosta's family.
Why?
I will post a picture of them. Have you ever watched that movie? The movie with... it's that movie, Stephen King movie, where they're like in a hotel and they're these two creepy twins.
Oh, Red Rum, that one.
No, I don't think it's Red.
Where they're on the bikes.
It's one. Yes. I think the girls look like that. So his daughters, first of all, are these twins, okay? And I hate speaking of people's kids. But it's like, there's nothing even wrong with these kids. But why they gave these kids these haircuts, I don't understand.
Yeah, it's not their fault.
You can never ever think anything other than this is creepy. They have those haircuts where they put a bowl on the head and cut.
Yeah.
Like the fringe, so it's above the eyebrows.
Yeah.
And it's bone straight, and then like the sides are barely below the ears. And it's like, why are you doing this to these kids?
You didn't have to do that. And you did it twice.
You
didn't see the first one, I think.
And you were like, fam. And then you did it again. Then his wife is just so macabre.
I don't think she's real. I don't think she's like
a human
here with us.
No,
yeah.
she looks like what's that artist? Is it Van Gogh that used to do paintings of people that were all stretched out, like
I don't know.
The woman was holding a
warps.
face like
yeah. I don't know who it was, but I know what you're talking about.
Guys,
the Scream.
Scream. That's the painting. I'm gonna post the Van Gogh painting if it's Van Gogh, and I'm gonna put, fam, you lot need to see this family because it all makes sense. It makes sense. Like, this is the exact kind of family he would have because he's a fucking weirdo. Like, he's a
weirdo. And you know what it is? Is that it's almost as if, like, as soon as she leaves him, she melts to become, like, a beautiful, normal woman. The kid's hair automatically grows. Like, it just seems like one of those montages that, like, she leaves him and everything just becomes better.
Normal. It's like when it's all grey and then, like, you paint it coloured.
Yeah, and then it colour,
Fam, I was looking... Do you know when you Google, like, Acosta, family, if you type that in, because I was like, when I saw it on the doc, I was like, is this real? And then obviously people have been searching it, having the same concerns as I do, because they all say, is it real? Like, literally, if you search Google and type in Acosta family, you'll be like, is it real? Like,
I'm gonna do it after this.
Did they hire these people? Like, it doesn't make any
it's
sense.
It's like a glitch in the Matrix.
No, guys, I'm gonna post the picture because I'm so sorry. I know that his family didn't do shit. It was all on him, but the shit didn't add up. Like, it doesn't add. You think Trump's family's ugly? Wait, whew. Okay.
No, but they're not ugly. They're just not real.
Who, the kids or the whole family?
Yeah. Oh no, the family.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think the government created them to just give the appearance that Acosta's real. Because
has a family. Yeah. Nah, to give him that look.
It can't be real.
I agree. So now we're in 2019.
I'm so bad to get the right out. Because I screamed.
How did we get here?
I literally had to show my sister this my thing. I was like, can you see this? Like, okay, I'm so sorry, guys.
And the court rules that the deal they made with Epstein in 2008 violated the rights of the survivors, right? Because they didn't inform the victims and they misled the victims. So now he has no immunity. Literally. The co-conspirators have no immunity and they can prosecute him. Literally. Which is like, praise Jehovah.
Literally. When this bit came up, I was dancing like David Madonna's son.
11 years later.
Like, if you see the dance I did, I was so happy because it's like...
Same.
The victims were just saying that it just shows that they're here, they exist, they're being heard, like...
Exactly.
And
it wasn't all in vain.
What happened to them was unlawful. Like, it was chef's kiss.
Yeah. Literally, like you said, we hear from the survivors and they're all like starting to have hope again. Because imagine, 2008, that's 11 years before he actually, they made this ruling. And so now they're starting to have hope again because they're like, they just felt like nothing was ever going to be done and it was just going to be, it is what it is, right? Yeah. And then Epstein gets arrested, right? And he's charged with different counts, namely sex trafficking. And it's so funny because one of the guys says, like, he was arrested as he, like, touched down. He's coming back from France. He touched down in New York and he was arrested, like, on the tarmac. Literally. And it's, like, so funny to me because the guy was like, he must have had no idea because if he had had an inkling, then he would have come back. He wouldn't have come back and he would have still been living his
He would have stayed in Little
life.
St. James because they can't get him there.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's July the 8th, 2019, which isn't even a year ago, by the way, at the time of this recording. And we find out that the maximum sentence for his charges is 45 years in jail, which would mean that Epstein would die in jail. So it's like, praise Jesus, your life done out, yeah? And so when he's arrested this time, more women come out about their experience. Perfect. So this is what we were saying, like, we haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to
There are
women.
more who probably haven't come out as well because obviously a lot of Epstein's co-conspirators and perpetrators are out there and unnamed.
And still out there and powerful, exactly.
So you're still not going to come out, but I feel like they've been named, but obviously the FBI is holding on to that information until they're able to make a move because
to prove it.
The victims that have come forward obviously know some of the guys who like did stuff.
Right,
so,
yeah, and you can connect the dots.
Because
so they probably have suspects.
Yeah, I'm saying to my sister, how come none of the like co-conspirators have been arrested? But I definitely feel like they've been named, but
it's coming.
The FBI, because FBI, like, one thing I have to say about FBI is they don't make moves until they are like, if they're gonna get you, they're gonna.
You remember this from
good.
The Pharmacist.
Literally.
They don't want to just get you. They want to get you.
It's not
they
just
will lie in wait.
Literally, it's not just because you say, "Hi, this is Dan Schneider." Like, they're not gonna make a move based off of that. Like, they will wait till they have all their ducks in a row. Everything is sweet.
No, exactly.
And then
this is the thing. The FBI will wait so that they can prosecute you efficiently, effectively, and you go into jail. You know.
You are going to jail, sir.
Yeah, the FBI raid his New York apartment. They find lots of naked images of young girls and young women, and they find other things which become important later on, right?
Ooh,
so let's get into all his friends, all the mandem, right? Everyone starts denying their relationship with him, trying to distance themselves from him. Trump is doing it. Trump is doing it. Clinton is doing it. But the thing is that with Bill Clinton, there's proof that Bill Clinton was on the island, right? And to be fair, Virginia, and this is why it's just so dumb that he's denying it, because Virginia says that she never saw Bill Clinton doing anything improper, right? But she was just saying him lying about being on the island, which is so dumb. It's like he denies being there, but it's like people have seen you there. Like people, like, do they forget that people can see you and people have? Do they just think that no one's going to say anything? But they just
think that their word is going to mean more. And this is the thing, it's okay. Sometimes you can have like a bad, like, you can have a friend, or you can even date guys, okay? And you can date a guy, you can think he's normal, and next thing, he's in prison. Like, and there's no... If you know, you fucking know, please.
Done. I'm actually so done.
If he's dating a nigga thinking, oh, this nigga is normal and nice, next thing he's in prison. They have locked his ass all the way up, okay? I'm
good night.
You.
Good night.
This shit happens. It is real. So all I'm saying is there's no point denying. Just like, like, my boy got locked up. I didn't know what he was on. Like, nobody's gonna come and say, oh, you were part of the crime. But when you're denying, like, Peter, it also makes people look at you funny.
Funny, especially when there's proof that you were there. Do you know what I mean? There's proof that you were there.
You could
say,
just
I
be
was
like,
there, but I
yeah,
wasn't doing
like, you could be
anything.
like, you know
I don't
what, yeah,
condone the behaviour.
Literally, I did go on the island. I did fraternise with him. I was on his private jet, but I did not know these things were going on. He would have known better than to do this in front of me. Simple.
Exactly.
We would have been like,
we out.
We out. We would have been like, oh, your friend is messy, your boy is messy, but calm.
Or even if we were like, yeah, of course you didn't say anything, you're lying. Is that not better than us being like, yeah, but you were there? Now we're thinking, why are you lying about it? What did you do?
Exactly. It means you're doing something nefarious, literally. Like, it's all
Wasteman.
types of messy. And I found it really, like, convenient that both Clinton and Trump just happened to have, like, ended their relationship with him a decade ago.
Yeah,
all of them
exactly,
said that. That was a
exactly.
very specific time, like, it was a decade. And if all these powerful and famous people had really ended their friendships with him, Epstein would not have been a billionaire. Like, Epstein had money. He was making this money because he was pals with people and him. So don't just shut up. I fucking hate these lies. Nobody can lie well. Ugh.
Honestly, so you're not even trying. Humour me. So we're back in London. It's 2019. Everyone knows that Prince Andrew and Epstein are boys. Yeah. So Prince Andrew thinks, oh, do you know what? I'm going to get ahead of the story. I'm going to do an interview on BBC. I don't know who in the team agreed to this. I don't know who because, boy.
Look, I can tell you categorically, I don't remember meeting her at all. I do not remember a photograph being taken. And I've said consistently and frequently that we never had any sort of sexual contact whatever.
He's like looking down for the most part, right? He sounds very unconvincing. Like, I haven't seen the whole interview. I plan to watch it, but I've heard that it's actually trash.
Horrific.
And during the interview, he gets asked about the photo, obviously, that has got him and Virginia in it. And he admits that he's seen the photo. He says he can't explain it and he can't remember it being taken.
That was literally his whole response to everything. He cannot remember. I don't
recall.
I understand not remembering, like, certain things. Because if someone said to me, oh, there was a day, like... If someone came and said to me, oh, in Dubai, there was a day where you did X, Y, Z. And I would have been like, oh, I don't really remember doing that. It was ages ago.
And then you see a picture.
And then you see a picture.
And you're like,
that would then,
oh, yeah.
I remember when we were by the pool. Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Exactly.
That. You don't remember things. Cool. It was years ago. I get that. But... you see the picture and you still don't even have an inkling. If that's really the case, then there are bigger medical issues with you than just sweating profusely or not sweating profusely.
Because honestly, and the thing is that it's not just you in the picture, Jelana's in the back. So it's almost as if like me seeing a picture of you and me and not knowing, and then I see a picture and like Annette's in the back, I'll be like, oh yeah, that must have been when whatever, or oh, let me ask her and see what was going on. Do you get what I mean?
And then he also says that he had a medical condition that stopped him from sweating. How flipping convenient. Like, this, first of all, like, this medical condition that stops people from sweating must be very rare, because you need
and very
to sweat
specific, because he says at the time he had that condition. He no longer has that condition.
So basically, say now, because it, just in case when he stands up we see a sweat patch, oh, it's not going on now, it was then. It just happened that week. Like, first of all, you need to sweat to regulate your body temperature. That much I know. So it must be a very specific kind of ailment that you had that is rare. This
is what I mean about lying badly, because you didn't have to do all that. You didn't actually have to do all that.
You could have just said you met her. You really could have just said, oh, yeah,
I met her. I don't remember where we went or what happened, but I do remember I met her that night.
Yeah.
Because Buckingham Palace have already said that you didn't know her, you had no contact. Okay, but you did, clearly. They weren't doing up Photoshop back then.
And do you know what, also, another thing I want to say is, regardless of what he says, that picture alone shows me he's guilty, because I was having this convo with my sisters as well. Why you, and I know Igbo people are very different to, like, the rest of us, but if you walk into a setting as a grown man, okay, and there are only adults in their 40s in this setting, and you see a 17-year-old girl who is not related to any of the adults, and is not with a parent, would you not think that's flipping weird? Like, and then you not only is that not weird to you, go ahead and then take a picture with her with your hand on her waist. My dad has a lot of pictures with, like, family friends, like, that are girls and whatever, but every time these pictures have been taken, these pictures have been like, and he has with boys, just to put that out there, but these pictures have been taken at family barbecues. These are kids that he's grown up with,
it's friends and
it's literally it's relatives. Just that, why would you take a picture with a girl in an environment where there's only two other adults who are not related to her. It actually doesn't make sense. And your arm
and the
is
thing
on her
is
waist.
that your arm's on her waist and you look very comfortable.
You look
very
like this
comfortable.
is your natural habitat. Like, if it was David Attenborough, and now we see Prince Andrew in his natural habitat with a 17-year-old girl that he's about to molest. Literally.
Exactly.
It doesn't make it make sense. So you have a lot of, you got a lot of explaining.
And another thing, we get on screen text here that says that Prince Andrew says that the night that they met, he was actually at Pizza Express with his daughter. And I'm like, so you can't remember meeting Virginia, even though there's photographic evidence that you did, but you can remember a random night at Pizza Express.
I wish you guys could see my face. When in the history of royalty has any royal family member ever gone to Pizza Express? Please. And please, this is such an easily corroborated story, because if Meghan Markle walked into, like, if I worked at Pizza Express and Meghan Markle walked in, I would remember. So surely somebody looking for their 5 minutes of fame would have come and said, oh, I remember the night that Prince Andrew walked into the brunch and I served him. So you don't remember anything, but suddenly you remember this one Pizza Express meal with your daughter you had. Get the entire hell out.
The thing is that it doesn't even matter, because remember Steve Scully from The Island? Ooh. And he was talking about, he saw Prince Andrew there with like a topless woman. Mm-hmm. He saw a picture of Virginia. Well, at first, this was so dumb. They showed him loads of pictures of the victims, of the survivors when they were younger. And then they showed a picture of Virginia, but like her currently. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I don't know who that man is, yeah. And then they showed him a picture of her with Prince Andrew, and was like, oh, like that's the girl from The Island. He was like grinding on her or whatever. Probably sweating also. Mad. So now we get pressure on Acosta to resign. And this is because of the shit decision he made in 2008, right?
P is for pressure, indeed.
P is for pressure, because he does this long... Anyway, eventually he resigns, innit? He's a dickhead. He resigns. The private investigator that we met time ago, he says that he thinks Acosta resigned because the higher-ups, like the people who knew the truth about the deal, would come out about everything that had happened. And so it was like, do you know what? It's just easier for him to resign at that point than try and like fight it and stay. Which is like, again, all the way to the top.
Trump. All roads of fuckery lead to Trump. I'm telling you, this shit is not even a joke anymore.
Honestly, it's not a joke. It's actually not a joke. And it's mad that he is president. But now that I read stuff and I like watch these kind of things, it's no surprise. It's actually no surprise
that he's president.
Yeah, that he's president.
Really? Why do you think that?
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. It's like, look how powerful Epstein and the man were. Like, having one of their own at the top, they would have done anything to make it happen. Because deep it, I didn't even know about electoral roll and all the votes and stuff. But from what I remember, it didn't make sense for him to win in terms of numbers. But there was some loophole, and that's why he won. So it's like the stars didn't just align; they were orchestrated so that
they were orchestrated. Win, you know? Yeah. I agree. And I just feel like as well, like one day you guys are gonna listen to this podcast. It might be 10 years, 15 years from now, and you realize that everything bad in this world is linked to Trump. And you remember that we said that. People think I'm joking. Climate change, the environment, COVID,
poverty.
COVID is 100% linked to Trump.
Do you remember that time when he tweeted that kofefe thing? COVID. Literally, I'm telling you, all negative roads in this world lead. If your hair is falling out, Trump. If your wig isn't laid, Trump. I'm telling you that weight. Trump.
That weight you can't lose, Trump. I'm telling you, all roads lead to Trump. Why your man cheated? Trump.
Motherfucking ump. Honestly.
They are going to have us off Spotify so quickly.
See, but you say this, but they don't actually care. We have no power nor influence. So Epstein pleads guilty, and no, he doesn't. Lol, that would be funny if he did. He pleads not guilty. Yeah. Right? And they're deciding whether he can get out on bail, because obviously he's got bare money, and he offers like $500 million.
He's literally like a crumb of freedom. He is there. Like, have you seen that meme of the fox with the cup begging?
Yeah,
that's Epstein begging for a crumb of freedom.
Honestly,
he's like take everything from me. I just want some freedom. Like, literally,
because $500 million is basically his fortune. So it's basically like saying like, which is suspect, because it's like saying, look, I'll give you everything, just let me out.
Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck are you going out for? That literally, that's what I'm saying. That begging to go out was dodgy as fuck, because with no money. What I'm saying is, anyway, we'll get into it, but remember that bit for the next bit. Honestly. So then, remember when the FBI raided his house, right? Not only did they find pictures of the naked girls and the young girls, they found diamonds and they found false passports, which to me, I don't know anything, but it looks like an escape plan. And it ties in with the fact that you're offering all your money, all your wealth, right? But you've got diamonds, so you've got money basically. You got a way to still have money and passports. So you're basically trying to get out, go to your island,
and chill where you can't be extradited.
I have a theory on this, but we'll get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good news, we found out that he's not getting out on bail, as he's found to be a danger to the community and also a flight risk.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
Because
Praise
on his way
Lord.
out of the country, which he definitely would have done, he would have probably raped and molested a whole bunch of other women too. Like, he probably had women waiting for him at home in hopes that he was getting out. Like, he can get the entire hell out. Like, nah.
He would have gone straight to the island, and that would have been it. That would have been it.
So,
some of the survivors actually get to go to the courtroom when he's doing his bail hearing, and they get to see that he is denied bail, which is nice. And it's really cute, like, the bond that they have with each other just because of this shared experience. And during the bail hearing, the judge actually gives the survivors the opportunity to address him and sort of say what he's done to them, which they've never had before. And I'm so happy that they got this opportunity, because it's August the 10th, 2019, and we find out that Epstein is dead. He apparently hung himself while he was in jail. So do you believe that he hung himself?
I do think he hung himself, but I think that it was under duress. Does that make sense?
I think he was killed. I think he was killed. I definitely
Actually,
think
do you know what? There's something out later that makes me think, But
he was killed.
Either way, I think that he was on his way out. Do you know what I mean? Like, he knew his end was coming. So
yeah, no, I think he was killed. At first, I was doing a major conspiracy theory because I thought, I don't think he's really dead. Like, I think he's on a secret island somewhere, living his best life. But then they showed pics of the body, and I was like, okay, maybe.
But then I also dug deep into my tinfoil hat, and I was looking at this thing that showed a comparison of, like, Epstein's side profile and the profile of the body, and I'm not 100% sold that it's actually his body. And also,
my sister doesn't think he's dead.
And also, another thing is, they don't usually show shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember when Aaron Hernandez died, like, you see the body leaving the prison, but you don't see his body. Like, you don't see his like, the body itself, but you just see it in a bag going into the ambulance. And the thing is that they said that he was dead. Like, they found him dead. So I don't understand why they had, like, the CPR, the neck brace and all of that shit, and then showed, like, the side profile of the body if he was already dead. Can you see what I'm saying? It's like they wanted to convince us, like,
that's what I'm saying. Listen, conspiracy theory, I will own it.
That was a Madame Tussauds wax. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, they had it ready. He either isn't dead or he was killed. I honestly believe that. I think the last thing that happened is that he committed suicide. It doesn't, because okay, we'll get into it. So they say that the cameras weren't working and that the guards were sleeping in this, like, prison, right? And it's like, how very convenient. Okay?
All the wrongable things that could go wrong went wrong.
Exactly, went wrong. Exactly.
On this one night, all the stars aligned.
All the stars aligned.
He just knew that they had aligned to kill himself, bruh.
To kill himself. We hear from the survivors as well, and obviously they're mad and, like, they've been cheated again. Like, again, they're not going to be able to. It's like, fuck
even
them in
in
life,
death,
fuck them in death.
He's screwing them over.
Exactly.
But the screwation doesn't end there.
If we go into the theory of him being killed, I think he was killed. I don't think he killed himself. I think it makes sense because he has so much information on so many people. Like, I don't remember who it was, but one of the survivors, I think it was, tells us that he had cameras in the walls. So you know those, like, limestoney kind of walls where it's not smooth, like, it's kind of like got, like, little dents in it, that kind of wall. She said that he had cameras in there, cameras everywhere, and he had, like, a security room full of cameras. So everything that happened, all the fuckery, all the abuse, all the trafficking, everything that happened, he had on tape, and he had all his mandem coming around doing whatever. And it's like big people, politicians, royalty, like, big people, he was blackmailing or could have been blackmailing. And I just think that is a good enough reason in that circle to want somebody dead, because he's been getting away with everything, so you probably don't feel threatened at all. But now is this different? This is post Me Too. He's been arrested, he's been denied bail, he's gonna start talking. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like it's more likely that he was killed than he killed himself.
Do you know, I thought
or if he killed himself is so that he wouldn't get killed.
My reason to play devil's advocate, because I'm not 100% sold on the fact that he's killed or sold on him being killed, but to play devil's advocate, I also felt like this is a man that never thought he'd get caught. He lived a life of luxury. He thought he was above the law, and he honestly believed he was going to get out on bail. He doesn't get out of bail. He's suddenly living in squalor, because we see where his cell is.
It's actual jail.
It's actually jail. It's not like the what he was doing before. Like, he was actually this time in real jail. So I'm kind of like, okay, maybe he just snapped and he was like, shit, I'm actually not getting out of this one. I can't do this. I'm not going out like this. Because I'm going to let you explain what he does before he dies. Because I think this,
I get what you mean. Okay. I'm going to do it this way. So 2 days before Epstein dies, he moves all his money to a trust in the Virgin Islands for like his will or whatever, right? So that's very suspicious because obviously his lawyers and stuff didn't know that he was going to die, but he did it. So it's almost like, okay, I'm going to kill myself and like no one's going to get my money. Like no one, not even your brother, no one. So it's having $577 million just sitting somewhere and no one is going to get it. Anyway, speaking of his brother doesn't believe that he killed himself. He doesn't believe it's a suicide. So he hires someone else to do an autopsy. And it's in this autopsy that they find there's fractures on the hyoid bone, which isn't consistent with a suicidal hanging. Like the way that the fractures were, it doesn't make sense that he would have hung himself. There was no evidence of him like having thrown himself, because when you hang yourself you have to be in the air, like you have to throw yourself off.
Well, that wasn't the kind of hanging he did. So in prison, because obviously there isn't enough room to actually hang yourself, what a lot of them do is they tie the bed sheet, this is quite morbid, they tie the bed sheet to the end of the bunk, and they obviously make the rope shorter than the length, the 90-degree angle. They kneel down and then almost like pull themselves forwards. So their neck snaps. So that was the kind of hanging that he was meant to have done. So.
But what the guy was saying was like there was nothing to prove the force. So that force of like going forward. So rather than like jumping, that force of going forwards, there was no evidence of that, because that wouldn't have produced that fracture.
Yep.
And that hyoid bone is like, whenever we watch crime documentaries, that when someone like strangles you or chokes you, that's what snaps.
Yeah. It's
so
apparently,
I feel like we
see it in this documentary, and it looks like chicken neck. Have you ever seen chicken neck? Has a mum ever made it in soup? I love that shit. It's good. It's good. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's all squidgy and.
So, I think that he was killed. But
this is the reason why I don't think he was that he's dead, because I don't really think he would kill himself. Because there's the other side of me that thinks he's so narcissistic. Exactly, he's so narcissistic that he would have thought he would have gotten out of this. So I think someone told him, prep yourself, we're gonna get you the fuck ASAP, move all your money, and then they put a body, like either a body in there or something else in there, and that's what they found. Because
and this is what I mean. You know, him doing the whole transferring the money thing is like, it makes it look like, it's like a convincing way to make it look like it was a suicide. But then it's like, where's the money going to? Nothing. He's transferred it so that he can live his best life as he's doing currently.
Because the other theory was that he transferred all of this so that like none of his victims could have, because basically even though they couldn't, now that he was dead, there wasn't a criminal suit going ahead, they could have filed a civil one and gotten monetary compensation. But now that he has no money in America and they can't touch the money that's in the Caribbean, and I know people can be evil even from their graves, but you cannot be like, why would you transfer that money? Do you know what I mean? It literally does not make sense. So I think he's alive. And also
I think he's alive.
And they also said all the guards that were on duty that day were like, or the guard that was on duty that day on watch was kind of like, that was his first day or something. It wasn't the usual guard. It was like an agency guard or something. How convenient.
I'm just saying, like, if it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, smells like a duck, quacks like a duck, then Jeffrey Epstein is alive. That's what it means.
Yeah. Guys, but Google this and Google like the body. Just type in Epstein body and literally it's on Google. You don't even you don't need to go to any dodgy, like it's right there. And again, usually you don't find bodies on Google, and usually even if you do, they're blurred out. You can see everything, which makes you think like they're proper trying to convince us this guy's dead when he's not. And there's one that compares like his side profile with the side profile of the body they find.
Of the body double.
I just don't think it's him. I wouldn't be posting it on our page because that's really morbid, but go and Google and let us know what you think.
Yeah. So the documentary is basically at the end now, and the last thing we see is Virginia telling us about the other people involved. So the people who did nothing in terms of coming out about what they had done or what they had seen. And I think this is really important, because just because Epstein is dead does not mean that this is over. I mean, dead, as in allegedly, it doesn't mean that this is over, because they were trafficked to people. Do you know what I mean? This has become about more than the fact that Epstein was having sex with underage women, or underage girls. Sorry, this has become also become about the fact that these girls were trafficked to people. If you're being trafficked, you were trafficked to someone else abusing you. Who are those people?
Yep.
Who are those named and unnamed, or who are those unnamed conspirators?
Yep.
Do you get what I mean? Like,
this goes really all the way to the top. They're like princes involved. They're politicians. They're all sorts of
this
the
is
ring.
the tip of the iceberg.
It was an international ring, literally.
Yeah, international. And I do think that eventually one day things will start to come out. Because like you were saying about the FBI, I don't think they just sit down and rest on their laurels because Jeffrey Epstein supposedly died. I think that it's just they're building a case, and one day it's just all going to go belly up. I just can't wait for Trump to come out of office, because I think then they'll attack him, because right now I don't think that
that's why he wants a second term, because when he comes out, they're gonna he has to face some lawsuits that are against him, like tax evasion, I think, and he refused to present his taxes. Yeah, so he has a lot waiting for him when he comes out of office, which is why he's trying to prolong it as much as possible. But bruh, you're still gonna face the music unless you die. Like you're gonna face the music
unless he'll go and be with Epstein wherever he is.
But mark my words, that guy's winning a second term. Like, I'm telling you, that guy will win. People don't want to hear me.
Yeah. Me in America, I don't feel like that no more. So,
bruh. But one thing I found really weird about this documentary is there's no mention of Ghislaine, or Ghislaine, how do you say her name? So, if you obviously know of the story, Ghislaine right now is missing. Like, nobody knows where she is. Like,
she's with Jeffrey.
Bruh. I mean, we know she's with Jeffrey, but there have been sightings, there have been this, but no, since, like, I think she went missing almost immediately after they arrested him. Nobody knew where she was. I think she's like somewhere in the Caribbean. I think he has another island people probably don't even know that he owns, and that's where they are. And living their life. And obviously, because the money's in the Caribbean, they can't even monitor like the activity
and 500 million. They're calm.
They're set for life. So he's probably grown out his beard and shit. She's dyed her hair, so even on this island, people that work around them don't even know that it's them. And I think finding her would be the key. I think she would break really easily, and then we can progress.
I don't know that she would, you know.
Do you think?
I think she's also very wicked. It's like what you were saying before about like finding that person that brings out the evil that's within you, or the good thing, the bad thing, the whatever. And I think it's like she wasn't manipulated into doing these things. I don't think she was coerced into doing these things. Like, she willingly did these things, it seems.
It's true. Together they were just.
But yeah, man, that's it. That's Epstein, filthy rich. I mean,
done now.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's done, because this was really disturbing to like watch and learn about and stuff.
Yeah.
But when we're back next, we'll be back with something more happy.
We got a surprise for you.
Honestly. So like we said, next week we are going to be taking a break.
Hiatus.
But the week after we'll be back. So yeah, we'll just take a little break, you know. We got to charge up.
Recharge. But yeah, that was good. We got there in the end.
We did. I enjoyed this. It wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it was a good bow on the conclusion of the Netflix. You did good.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Yeah, you did good.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at 2girls1doc. Same on Facebook. You can start a discussion there. You can follow me on Instagram at Miss Beady. Same on Twitter.
And she actually tweeted this week. It was crazy. I was so excited. I was like, a notification from Miss Beady. Oh my God.
Honestly, you're welcome, babes. I do it for you.
You can follow me on Twitter, 4ends_1_, and follow me on Instagram, 4ends_2_. That's my thing. But yeah, guys, stay blessed, stay cute, stay safe, and see you later.
Bye.
Bye.